Hello everybody, James here. Now, this is the second video I'm recording solo today, but it's actually the first one that's going to be broadcast. So coming up in like an hour or so, I've got a full review of Saturday night's main event where I'm sort of less showered and a bit more tired than I am now, because I recorded that, went for a shower, brushed my teeth, that kind of thing. And I was thinking about the finish of the John Cena-Gunther match, and I was just thinking, man, what a massive mistake. I say that in the other...
Guys, I agree. This was such a stupid way for John Cena to go out. Everyone's saying his legacy is ruined, and I agree with it. This is a reaction, folks. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Here we go.
The video, and I encourage you all to watch that, the full review of the full show. But some of the stuff I'm going to be going over, for a second time. But other stuff I've got to add in because I don't get it. I mean, this is the man, John Cena. By the way, he's now retired. He's now done. Just in case you don't know, he tapped out to Gunther clean in the middle of the ring. Now, some people might be saying, well, you've got to put over the other star kind of thing. But, man, not in this case. I mean, the Goldberg match was one thing. Because, he was, much more older, more broken down. Not as a strong connection with the WWE audience, nowhere near than John Cena had, obviously. But once again, this is the man, John Cena, who never gives up. That is his character. It's on all of his T-shirts, never give up, that little towel he holds up at the beginning. Now, John Cena has tapped out in the past too. I think Benoit, Jericho, and Kurt Angle twice, maybe, but never since he became a babyface, I believe, in 2004 or so. And it just seemed so out of character that not only would John Cena tap out, it's the way he tapped out. He didn't.
A lot of people are basically saying that Triple H wanted to bury Cena like that, and there was supposedly a tweet from Triple H after all of this saying, "The last time is now, LOL." So, what's that all about?
Pass out like other baby faces. He tapped out in a weird way, which I'm going to sort of address in a few minutes. Now, in this video, once again, I'm going to be covering a couple of points that I make in the full review, but I've just got to say that, once again, I think it's a giant mistake for John Cena to lose, especially in this manner. Now, this is not Triple H creative decision. I'm sure Cena wanted to highlight young talent, also give Gunther a massive win on the way out, which kind of makes no sense really in my mind, because I'll explain further on the video.
Why did they have to put over Gunther? That guy is a joke. He's not, in my opinion, he's just not likable. It's like, just give Cena his last, he should have been like, you give Cena his last win, and that's it, Or make it look like he's about to lose, like almost something like an accidental disqualification or something, and then they end the match, and then like Triple H comes out and says, "No, restart the match," or whatever, and then Cena goes out big or something, something like that, something more dramatic than just him tapping out clean to Gunther.
Well, but Gunther's already a massive star. He didn't need another win. I just think genuinely for the house, for everybody watching, they needed that feel-good moment, because there's not really been that many feel-good moments this year that people get really excited over. And this one just, was a bit of a wet blanket over proceedings. But once again, probably not Triple H's decision whatsoever. John, what do you want to do? Well, he wants to, lose on the way out. But the fact is that sometimes...
So you think it was John Cena's idea, not Triple H's? Okay.
People like Triple H, or whoever's in charge creatively, need to stop these bad decisions and suggestions in their tracks and say, no, this time, this is what's going to happen, and then explain why, rather than giving the talent, I guess, full reign. That's purely a guess on my part, but you can see pretty much from what's been said, especially in the run-up to this match, that John Cena definitely wants to highlight and, leave the place, leave wrestling better than when he found it, basically. But once again, I think Triple H needs to be that sort of that person to sort of halt an idea in its tracks and say, no, do you know what, for once, let's give the fans what they want in that sense. So anyway, We'll go to the match as well. No Jesse Ventura. Now, I said in the full review that he wasn't on the show at all. I don't think he was on the main show unless he was shown in the crowd briefly, and I missed it. He was on the pre-show, and on the pre-show he said something like, well, John Cena's a 17-time world champion. That means he lost the belt 17 times. Who'd want to brag about that? Who'd want that on their resume? And that's probably why, it kind of crystallizes why Jesse Ventura doesn't do commentary anymore on these shows, because this is meant to be the most feel-good of feel-good shows. Turns out it wasn't. It was toward the end, but the match finish it certainly wasn't. But there's these kinds of withering put-downs that don't make sense in that context, which is kind of why they've started limiting his appearances in the first place. But
what did Jesse Ventura have to do with John Cena's last match? Did they just bring him back for like the legacy because, you know, he's a legend in wrestling? Like, what was the deal with that?
There were rumours going around also that the John Cena Gunther match was going to open the show. Can you think of anything worse than having John Cena lose, tap out, then have the, you know, fare thee well kind of thing going on with the outro packages, and then everyone's just depressed for the next hour watching Cody Rhodes and Obafemi and stuff. Anyway.
Well, watching Cody Rhodes matches is pretty depressing as it is. Imagine having to watch that after this. So, yeah, you don't want to have that as the opening match, his send-off. That's ridiculous.
We'll get to the match. Once again, huge ovation for Cena, John Cena, including the fans singing along with the intro music. Cena takes the camera that's right in front of him, I guess held by Stu, the cameraman, the fabled Stu. But the director, so Cena takes the camera, turns it around to Stu, but then the director doesn't want to switch cameras to show Stu on camera. So it's just another, like from where the entranceway is, like showing, I guess, Cena instead holding the camera, then giving it back to Stu. And then the director cuts it just as you just see Stu's face go, you know, move out of the way. So someone obviously didn't want him to be on camera. Cena gets in the ring, celebrates, then he goes to people around ringside, including Rob Van Dam, loads of people he worked with in the 2000s, Rob Van Dam, Trish Stratus, Kurt Angle, Michelle McCool is there, by the way, I just have to point that one out. Elijah gets a big cheer, Kevin Owens gets an even bigger cheer, this is the first time he's been on TV in many months, Haku's there, Booker T's there, who was sticking up for John Cena regarding...
Yeah, see, I mean, that's great that all of those people came out for his final match. It's great, you know? And that's how it should be.
Bullying accusations a couple of days ago. And then they brought down the drop-down microphone. I waxed lyrical about that, I'm sure, because Stevie Richards was talking about that. I can't guarantee that, but I bet someone listened to that and thought, what a good idea. And I'm pretty sure they had the original microphones because they sound different as well. They peaked differently when Lillian Garcia was doing the ring introduction. So anyway, F you Gunther chants, asshole chants, that kind of thing. WWE ruins it by muting the worst swear words, I guess, which was fuck. Cena's final match then is also brought to you by Minute Maid. That we can't forget about that. Submissions early. Put it this way, I can't really review the match that well because it's kind of just...
I love how the advertising is so a part of the show now. That Cena's final match is brought to you by Minute Maid. Amazing.
Exactly what you think it'd be. A Gunther, John Cena match, 50-50, back and forth. Power bombs that landed. Gunther dropped really, really nicely on Cena, so, you know, no real way of him getting hurt. Sorry, I'm dealing with tonsillitis at the moment, so if I keep pausing, it's because I'm going bleh all the way through.
Let's see that again.
Pausing, it's because I'm going bleh. Or pausing, it's because I'm going bleh. Pausing, it's because I'm going bleh. Going bleh. Going bleh. Going bleh. All the way through.
Sorry, James.
Triple A. AA, attitude adjustment, ends up putting Gunther through the announcer's table, but Gunther was the one to set up the steps to try and powerbomb Cena through the table. Once again, I'm pretty sure this isn't a no DQ match, but I guess at this point it doesn't really matter anymore. They do the... put it this way as well, I forgot to mention this, the crowd were amazing all evening, but for this match, they were just molten white hot for this match. They paid $1 billion a seat for.
$1 billion.
Fighting spirit spot toward the end. Once again, I've got to make mention of this. Cena throws the worst European uppercut I think I've ever seen. He misses him by furlongs. He does, let me tell you. More power bombs, and then Gunther does a splash. Cole calls it a frog splash, which it wasn't. Super Cena chant breaks out, and then Gunther lands a sleeper. And this is kind of where the last portion of the match proceedings happens. Gunther gets a sleeper for about a minute, and then Cena kind of half fights out, then Gunther gets it again. Almost gets a AA, and then no, Gunther gets the sleeper again.
I mean, it's just, what a silly match. It's like freaking Gunther, of all people. You know? If anything, as much as I'm not a fan, it should have just been Cody Rhodes or something. Someone who everyone can get behind.
Third arm drop spot. This is over the course of minutes, by the way, and it was a very good match. Let's not get that wrong. They do the 3-arm raise, and then Cena keeps his arm up for the third, of course, and then the fans explode. It's one of the first times I've heard where the fans are really genuinely willing a wrestler on, kind of thing. But anyway, I think does Gunther get another AA? It's been, less than an hour since I've seen it. I've already forgot. The point is that he gets another sleeper on, keeps locking it in, and then the camera zooms in, frames really, really well. And then here's what happens. Cena is like this. And he does it like that, and it's really weird. It's not like he's really struggling, he's in too much pain, he's going to go... One, he doesn't pass out. Other baby faces have resigned themselves that they can't get out and rather pass out than tap out. That's more acceptable, I think, quite frankly, in this way. But the way that Cena did it, it was really weird.
I'm going to tell you right now, Cena has not cared or been passionate about wrestling since he started his movie career, like 10 years ago, right? And I don't want to say he doesn't care at all, but his mind is elsewhere. He's done these epic matches with huge finishes like so many times. Him versus Randy Orton, Randy Orton versus Cena, him versus Bray Wyatt, him versus The Undertaker. It's just like, after a while, it's like, whatever, At this point in his life, he's made $1 billion being John Cena. It's like, at this point, it's like, what does he need to go out on a big note for? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's past all of this. I think he's relieved that it's over. He may make an appearance here and there, like maybe in a year or two or something, but otherwise, he just, he's moved on. He's a movie star now, like The Rock. In my opinion, Cena is not a great actor, So, that's just my thoughts.
Was really like, well, you're not choking me out, but I kind of can't get out of it. So, okay, you win, well done. It's a really, really weird way of doing this tap out, and it's something that was quite jarring, not only to me, but it seemed to be everybody in the crowd who were all doing the Undertaker when he lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania phase, going,
yep,
hands on head, the whole thing. I don't blame them, because I don't get it. I really don't get this finish. And it's the way he tapped out. If he was in so much pain, that would be one thing to go, yes, you got me. But he just seemed bored, if nothing else. Whatever, I've done my 20.
See what I mean? This is exactly what I just said. He seemed bored. He is.
And it kind of just felt like a bit of a betrayal of the John Cena character once again. It's the never give up thing. Well, he didn't pass out. He wasn't in so much pain. He did just give up.
He did give up.
So there you go. I just don't get that finish. I don't get why that finish was approved, even if you were going to give up in that specific way, because it just looks kind of a bit wrong. And let me tell you, people were bummed, man. People were bummed when Cena lost. They start chanting bullshit. For me, it's complete wrong move. Sometimes you've got to give the fans what they paid for, and boy, did they pay a lot for it. Finally managed to sell the damn place out, more or less. I don't know about the resale tickets, but they dropped some prices, filled up the arena, And, they were absolutely ready to just explode with joy when Cena finally pulled out one more Super Cena win, and it just didn't happen. It took quite a few minutes
Super Cena
for the fans to mostly get over it, but they didn't get over it. That's the problem. Cena just, pulled the face of resignation and was done. So after the fact, he sat in the ring for quite a while. Thank you, Cena, chance, breakout, that kind of thing. But just before we get off the whole Gunther thing, I don't think a Gunther loss would have hurt him whatsoever. I think what I say this on the other video. A Gunther loss would have helped his character. He's the guy who's almost unbeatable, but will tap out. He is a heel. He will give up. He is ultimately a coward. He is beatable in one way if you can catch him. And I think that actually...
And him losing to Cena in his last match is totally fine, because it's supposed to be looked at as an honor to be Cena's final opponent. So either way, Gunther would have gotten his flowers from the crowd, So I don't know why they wanted to go this way, and if it was John's idea to do it this way, it's like I said, he didn't care. He was bored. He just wanted to fulfill his contract and go home and do podcasts on Joe Rogan.
Further fleshes out his character. It was great when he tapped out to Jey Uso, because he tapped out quite quickly in the grand scheme of things, and the fans chanted "You tapped out" all through the year, including in this match before John Cena tapped out. So I just, like, with the Goldberg thing, that was one thing, because Goldberg really was old and broken down, had nothing left to give, whereas John Cena felt like he did have more to give and was just kind of just done and gave up. Once again, Cena's in the ring, sits there, soaks up the adulation of the crowd. Then people start walking to ringside, and guess who's leading them? Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And guess what the fans do? They start booing, like, really loudly at Triple H. Like, they know he's the creative head. He makes it obvious every single week. He's the star of Unreal. And they all blame Triple H for John Cena losing. And ultimately, he's the guy who gives the yay or nay to what happens. They're right to. It is Triple H's fault, and there's more reasons to boo him every single week at the moment, it seems to be. But yeah, on that one, Triple H and John Cena, I'm sure, made the wrong call. That's my opinion. Some people may disagree with it. And here's something else with Triple H getting himself...
I will say, I agree with James. I do. For Cena's send-off, it just could have been... It should have gone another way.
Over at everybody else's expense. It was like WrestleMania 4 when Randy Savage won the WWF title, but the camera was more on Hulk Hogan celebrating with him, and it wasn't quite that level. But CM Punk, Cody Rhodes get in the ring, they give him their respective world titles for him to pose, then they both take a knee. They're the only other people in the ring. Triple H then stands on the ring apron, fans boo him more. So then the only people stood up at ring level height is John Cena and Triple H.
Right.
And it just... it beggars belief that Triple H couldn't quite... And I'm reading this as an ego power play kind of thing, that Triple H had to be on the level with John Cena. On that's how I read it. A little outro video plays. Triple H directs John Cena's attention to the video thing. Loads of people, including his parents, all these colleagues, all these current superstars, all these past wrestlers as well, all wax lyrical. And then Vince McMahon shows up on the video as well, an archive bit of footage where it says that the people gravitate to John Cena because of the goodness he radiates. And I think that's a very fair thing to say. What else? Cena...
I love how they used archival footage of McMahon, of Vince, before the allegations, before he got caught doing all the crazy shit he did. But what he said about Cena is very true.
Then puts his wristbands, his shoes, his headband that he wears on his bicep, leaves it all in the ring as an act of retirement. Thank goodness he didn't leave his shorts in the ring as well. Goes back down the aisle, gives the old salute, and leaves. Once again, I mean, I know people were there for the big, retirement send-off kind of thing, but honestly, I think WWE absolutely shit the bed on that one.
Oh, yeah.
They really kind of let the fans down, and I just don't think that was the right move. I'm sure some people would disagree, but on the post show, which they do, you know, they have the panel thing with fans at the back. People were booing Triple H because obviously Triple H is there. Everyone's booing Triple H every time he's on the video screen, and fans started chanting AEW as well. And I just think this is not what you wanted for a John Cena retirement match. Is fans chanting AEW at you, really?
That's terrible. This just goes to show that WWE just has been so out of touch for so damn long. It's just ridiculous.
So I guess to wrap it all up, I think WWE made rather a big mistake with that one. And my other point was going to be is that they've done such a good, actually a terrible job in certain aspects and a great job in others of making John Cena's retirement year tour as special as possible. But then I sort of think, well, now here is the demarcation line. You've just crossed it. Now there's before Cena and after Cena. Well, it's before, during, and after Cena. I guess there's 3 eras in WWE. And that's just another guy who's gone now, who's never going to come back. And I sort of think, if you're making such a big deal of the fact that you will never see this guy wrestling again, is that ultimately going to turn more fans off in the long run? I don't know, but I was thinking that out loud on the other video I recorded as well. Is it a bad thing to put too much focus on somebody who's leaving, who people will miss too much, if you know what I mean? And then maybe people would just go, oh, well, Cena's not going to be here anymore. Brock Lesnar might be retiring, AJ Styles, etc.
Well, I mean, you don't really have any of those. The new modern wrestlers are not anywhere near John Cena level, you know, like Hulk Hogan level, The Rock level, Stone Cold Steve Austin level. You can't even put Roman Reigns there. You can't. You know, people are going to say you could put Cody Rhodes up there on that Mount Rushmore, but I don't agree with that. You know, it just sucks. It really does.
You know, and then we've just got these guys, and, you know, Punk and other people aren't going to be too far behind either. I don't know. The one thing I do know is I think a lot of people will miss John Cena. I think even with the heel turn, it was a terrible follow-up to the heel turn. It was well executed. It could have gone a lot better, but ultimately when it came to the matches themselves, for the most part, very fulfilling. People love them. People will miss John Cena for many, many years to come, I think. Even if you weren't a fan of John Cena, you're going to miss him, which is kind of a hallmark of someone who's not just a superstar. He's just one of the all-time megastars in pro wrestling, and it's a monumental night. It was last night at Saturday night's main event. But once again, the point of this video is, should he have tapped out, should he have lost? Absolutely not. Sometimes you've got to give the fans the money's worth, and that's a lot of money they're paying. And you know what? Sometimes you just need a feel-good moment. Wouldn't have done any harm to Gunther. Wouldn't have done any harm to... It would have been great for Cena, and it would have done Triple H some good as well, to not give the fans even more fuel for the fire of sort of turning on him, which I'm feeling 2025 is the year that people are turning on Triple H as the chief creative officer, as it were. So those are my thoughts. Let me know.
So I mean I gotta say I agree with everything James is saying here. You know, I wish John Cena well. Leave a comment saying, Cena, we wish you well, or farewell Cena. Leave some sort of a comment so I know you're out there. And let's see if we can get 1 like on this video. That's the goal. Subscribe to James's channel. Link is in the description. Check out all those links down below. And like and share. And subscribe over here. Till next time, keep talking that wrestling. We'll keep reacting. And if you don't like that, we got 2 words for you. Subscribe.